Snow on green grass. Although it doesn't look like it, I've dealt with this a lot of times over the years.
Yeah, go back inside. It's time for a lawn update. I'm in a t-shirt.
Today I want to briefly discuss 3 topics surrounding the implications of snow falling and accumulating on green grass, both before it goes dormant and after it emerges from dormancy. All 3 of these topics are a little bit different, but they have a lot of similarities, so stick with me. All right, it's fall. Your grass is green and growing. It might be growing sluggishly. It might be a little bit dull green, but it certainly doesn't look brown like a January lawn. And then it snows during a cold snap. Is this going to stunt the grass in any way or damage it? The short answer is no. Unless you're running a warm season grass that can't handle frosty weather like centipede or bahia or even Bermuda to some extent. These grass types are unlikely to experience extreme cold weather before Thanksgiving, though, so the risk of injury to these grasses is small in the warmer southern states this time of year. Usually, frosty weather happens in proper winter, when these grass types are fully dormant. And some lawns that grow these grass types will never see a frost ever. Even marginally dormant Bermuda can stand up to light frosts and light snow accumulation because they start to go dormant when soil temperatures get into the mid to low 50s. This is typically well before frosty snow weather arrives. If they did, however, experience a freak snow event in the fall or the spring when the grass was still green and not dormant, the actual snow accumulation on the surface of the lawn would insulate the root systems below the soil surface. The snow itself would protect the root systems from freezing, and although the grass would be pushed into dormancy probably pretty quickly, we might experience a little bit of leaf tip burn. The grass would probably come right back out of dormancy in the spring just as it normally would. Possibly a little bit delayed, but hardly noticeable. Now for cool season lawns, snow on green grass is very common. I'm used to having grass, Kentucky bluegrass, perennial rye mostly, that remains fairly green well into December. With our snowy weather, it usually stops growing somewhere in mid-November, but it stays green for a while. And I run the mower over it for a while too, cleaning up the lawn, picking up tree debris, and just keeping it tidy. With light snowfall, typically for me, that always started around Halloween, my lawns always needed an extra mow 2 or 3 after the snow started coming down. Goodness, I've even fertilized my cool season lawns after the snow fell in the month of November. Much like a warm season grass, if you do get snow on the ground late in the fall when the grass is still green and growing, that snow is going to insulate the soil and the root systems of your lawn. If the outside air temperature drops to 20 degrees and snow falls, lands on the ground, that 20-degree air hits the snow and everything below it doesn't get quite as cold. Additionally, the snow sitting on the leaf blades is going to protect the leaf blades themselves from dry, cold winds. So if you're getting really cold outside, but snow isn't coming down, having a little bit of snow on the leaf blades is actually going to prevent or at least slow down the desiccation of the grass blades themselves. All of this is to say that the snow actually helps your cool season lawn be more resilient. It's going to look better the next day after all of that snow melts off. Usually in November, soil temperatures are cold, but they're nowhere near as cold as they get during the coldest parts of winter, January, 1st of February. During late fall, cool season grass root systems are still active, although they may be sluggish. Leaf tissues are still green, although the color might be fading a little bit. In my opinion, a bit of snow actually helps cool season lawn perform better later into the fall season in comparison to a dry, cold lawn. If you're getting really cold air, really cold overnight temperatures, but no snow is coming down, those lawns are usually going to fade into winter dormancy much faster. Now, during early winter, or let's call it December weather, if you have actually taken the time to cut your lawn grass lower than normal before all of the constant, persistent cold weather and persistent snow accumulation stays on the grass, and then you get a good, healthy, thick layer of snow sitting on the ground that doesn't melt off the next day, then the lawn is going to be less susceptible to snow mold come March, when spring is just right around the corner. You'll end up having less areas of die-off due to tall grass blades folding over and mulching themselves down under the heavy weight of snow accumulation. What I'm saying here is it's really in your best interest to cut your lawn extra short towards the end of November, 1st of December, before you get heavy snowfall accumulation. You don't need to do it, but your lawn will perform much better in the spring if you hack it down. You don't need to scalp it, but hack it down pretty low. You see, snow mold isn't that big a deal in most situations. It will resolve itself, but it will cause a couple weeks delay in the start of your, let's call it, vibrant spring growing season. Usually the best lawns in the months of March and April were cut down low before heavy snow accumulation started happening in the month of December. If you do take the time to fertilize your lawn just before full dormancy in the late fall, and you take the time to cut your lawn extra short before heavy snow accumulation, and your lawn starts waking up from winter dormancy towards the end of winter, just prior to the start of spring, and then you get a heavy snow accumulation at the end of March or early April, or in my case, we got snow accumulation all the way into May, then that's actually going to slow the growth pattern of your lawn as it goes into the spring flush. It's not going to kill the lawn, but it is going to delay normal spring chores that you do in the lawn, like your mid-spring fertilization push and your pre-emergent applications. But because sunlight duration and intensity is so much greater during the end of winter and the first parts of spring than it is at the end of fall, your lawn is not going to experience any long-term detriment to snow falling on green grass, let's call it in the month of April. Unless you get a serious cold snap after a warm season grass has emerged from dormancy, started growing and greening up, I wouldn't consider snow on the ground on a green lawn to be a problem. If you happen to be watching this video in the early spring, then make sure to see the spring lawn care videos that I've linked to down in the description. But for those of you watching this in the fall, I urge you to take a look at my winter or my December lawn care guide information right up here in the corner. These days, I live in a 12-month growing season in Southern California. Rules for areas like this differ enormously. Winter lawn care videos for grasses that don't go dormant will be coming out soon, and they'll also be linked in the description below.